We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thính, vì thứ pháp hội ngập nhất thiết chúng sanh. Hình chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly hô đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đàn Thổ Sư Chế Đô Dễ Ở La Hơ Đi San Mèo San Pu Tô Xế. Nam mô Thạc Đạc Thà Tô Già Đà Già A La Đế Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian万劫难遭遇，我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Qingliang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good knowing advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大师、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa lãnh lượng đại sư Hòa Thượng Thiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và các vị thiện tri thức ca Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 17th of May 2024. We here go first to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. We are right now on door number 2, okay, on slide 698. Thank you all for joining us. I have to warn you, last week I simplified it a lot for you, talking about the three natures. Now we're going to what the sages do with your three natures. So it's rather interesting, but it's way beyond us, way beyond you for sure. Because as within the next, 720, the next few hundred slides, it's going to be way over your head and mine. Okay? To the point where none of my peers gets it. And that's why they stopped the translation at this door number 2. Okay? And they said, this is too much. And so it's kind of comical to me that Master YongHua spends so much energy explaining this, and it proves he's so erudite. And and he's able to understand what these the great patriarchs are doing, what they why they taught these things. To me, I honestly have to admit to you, I have no interest. Okay, because for why? For two reasons. Number one, you go through this because it's useful if you want to establish a school in the United States to see the different schools and their approaches. Why certain schools did certain things in certain ways and so forth. We're not quite there yet. But I'm preparing ahead for you, and I said, wow, this is getting thicker and denser and denser and denser. And to the point where I said, wait a minute, okay, it's too much for me to try to follow, okay? Because if I could even, number two, if I could even understand it, it's for me, it's not for you, okay? And therefore, it's not a good use of your time. This is point number two, is that if it's something like this, I would do it on my own, and then one day proclaim a school, the school here, and says, I'm going to have American school of style of Mahayana, and we're going to teach you this, and so forth. On the other hand, let's face it, why would you want to create a school? What's the point? See, you don't even know. It's a very simple question. Why would you want to establish a school? Why do you have Montessori for your kids? And what's the other school? Huh? Waldorf. You have two different approaches. Yeah, very similar here. The Indians have Dharma nature and Dharma marks. They have different approaches to educate our children, educate stupid people like us. So why would they do that? Because they feel that's the best way for us to get there. Yeah? When you send your kids to the school, you want them to learn certain things and become well-rounded enough that can get into a good college program, maybe. Huh? Okay? And so, same thing here. We establish schools, to me, is in order for you to become enlightened, because that's a better way for you to become enlightened, to me. Okay? Because my goal in doing all of this is the only one thing that matters to me. All the time you spend together, all the laughs, all the cries, all the tears. It's for one purpose only. It's for you to become enlightened or plant the seeds for enlightenment. That's all that interests me. Okay? And once you become enlightened, you do whatever you want with your life. It's your choice. It's very much like when you send your kids through college and he graduates, you're done. You say, hey, live your life. This is when my responsibility ends. Okay, same thing. I feel that, you as long as you become enlightened, and hopefully enlightened very quickly, you don't need to go through 4 years of bachelor's, 3 years of master's, another 3 to 10 years of PhDs, Wouldn't that be wonderful that we help you graduate from a college, whether it's a bachelor's or master's or PhD, and then you'll go on and live your life. And then if you want to be like us and want to set up your schools, then you go and do your own research. You don't need us. Because it's very personal. Okay? That's how I see it. So that's why I feel that this is one of the reasons why they don't translate. They didn't translate these prologue. To me, the prologue is so profound, so beautiful, but they didn't translate because they don't get it. It's too much. Yes, JMT question.
마스터, 들리세요? 네. 제 질문이 삼성 중에 첫 번째인 변계집성인 사람, 그리고 우울증인 사람을 어떻게 도울 수가 있는지를 일단 질문드리고요. 조금 더 부연 설명이 있어요, 사부스님.
Master, my question is, how can I help people whose nature is everywhere calculated and attached to, and depression? How can I help them?
참고로 예를 들면 이제 제 경험이 매닉 같은 경우에는 좀 산매력을 가지고 인과관계를 설명을 하면 상대방이 좀 컴다운한 효과가 있었는데, 우울증인 경우에는 아예 정신이 나가서 귀에 들리지가 않으니까 그렇게 삼성 중에 첫 번째인 경우와 우울증은 도울 수 있는 방법이 없는지, 어떻게 도울 수가 있는지 제 수준에서 그것이 제 질문입니다.
For example, in my experience, the manic people, if I explain to them the cause and effect, and they become calm down. But for the depressed people, and then the nature is everywhere calculated and attached to, they don't listen. So how can I help them?
If they don't listen, you can't help them. Okay, here in the Saha world, we need to teach through the hearing. They need to listen. They don't listen, there's nothing we can do. Okay? And so, though you're bringing up a very special case where this is a special cases where these people have mental challenges, and therefore it's beyond you, because you yourself have mental challenges. So if you can't even fix your own challenges, how can you possibly help anyone? It's very much like, to me, it's funny that when I was married and had problems with my ex-wife, my wife, and so we told to go for marriage counseling, and it turns out most marriage counselors are divorced. For divorce, I said, wait a minute. if they can't even fix their own problems, how can they possibly fix my problem? Okay, so that's the same thing, a very same principle. If you still have mental challenges, if your wisdom has not unfolded yet, you can't help people. At least not directly. Okay? That's a short answer for you. So in those cases, you can't help them. And we're going to go into how the Buddha, why the Buddha talked about the three natures, and how it's used by the sages. How the sages, they see our nature, and they said, for this problem, for this kind of minds, this is what I'm going to do. The Buddha saw that, and he said, this is what I'm going to teach you. So what I taught you last week, was for us low-level people. And I'm trying to restrict you to a smaller set of the problems. But for the Buddha, these sages, they're very different. They're the solution. Of course, they have solutions for everything that they face. But that's why they're Buddhas. That's why they're Bodhisattvas. So that's why it's now we go into the real problem solving, not just like the Band-Aids and the Mickey Mouse business that we do. I don't know if that answers your question. Simply put, you can't help. Okay? Leave them alone. Okay? Unfortunately, you go into counseling, and the kind of help for you folks can provide to your clients in counseling is skin deep. You can't really fix the problems. Okay? To me, you therapists are helpful in two ways. Number one, make sure they don't kill themselves, don't do anything stupid, okay, or hurt someone. And number two, release. If they're so stressed out, they're so maxed out, they need to go see you and release it and dump it on you. That's important. They need a safe place, someone they trust, they can dump on. And that's how you make your living. But forget it, you can't fix them. You can't fix it. You can't fix the problems.
그러면 현실적으로 그러면 뭐 위표를 달아준다든지 복을 지을 수 있도록 하는 정도로 하고 그냥 포기를 해야 되는 거라고 제가 이렇게 결과를 받아들이면 될까요?
So in reality, what I can do is to request a plaque for them or make them plant blessing. And then is that all?
Well, don't buy too many plaques because your husband's going to complain. You can simply recite Medicine Master Buddha's name, or play that tape on Medicine Master Buddha's name in your office or something, okay? And that's how you can help. You don't want to throw your money away, and your husband will complain. He says, "I'm thinking of buying another BMW," and you keep on, spending all our money. Okay, so we can help in other ways. Okay, it is a good profession. The therapists and so forth, but they should know their limitations. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we should know our limitations because that's how we can better serve our clients. Okay, anyone else? Okay, slide 826. Yes, DTT. There's plenty of things we can do. We don't need to, to go too deeply into this. So it's good to go through this because I want you to plant the seeds of great wisdom. Okay? The great master Qing Liang prepared this is to help you get the kind of erudition, great overview of Buddhist teachings. It's fantastic. So it's worthwhile to me to go through it once. But don't try to understand too much. It's okay. Yeah. Yes, DTT. Can't hear you.
Hello, Master. Can you hear?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Ching, me, Sarah, Venerable Xiongwen, and Sarah's daughter is helping a little bit too. Are compiling your lectures of Six Patriarch Sutra and the Heart Sutra into books. I want to ask,
Bless you.
want...
Bless you. Thank you.
Do you want us to make edits to the text to make it more readable for most of the audience? Or do you want it to keep it more original?
No editing.
Okay, I see. Thank you, Master.
It's because you don't want to edit something that if you take out one of the things that I wanted to teach your generation and you remove it inadvertently, okay, you're going to be in big trouble. Okay, so that's why just compile and let someone else do the editing. You guys don't have the wisdom to edit it, okay? So for this phase here, for first phase, let's compile everything. We probably won't be able to publish it because it's too thick. I digress constantly, okay? I'm so scattered, I would digress. Yeah, see, I get interrupted all the time. Yeah, go ahead.
Master, I think they're asking because the first batch of transcription is pretty close, right, to everything. So Trin can elaborate so that when they're compiling, they might as well. It's a lot of the text that they might as well have some general guidelines that they can edit out the obvious part of the sutra.
Such as? Specifics.
I feel this is more like an offline discussion. But then I think there's some nuances. Master, you told us, for example, we can leave out the individual teachings when people individually answer your question, and then you taught them based on their answer. And that was for individuals, and we don't need to publish them. And then there was some other stuff you mentioned that we can edit out. For example, partics.
If I specifically said edit this out, it's okay.
Yes.
But when I answer people, it's still within the confines of the sutra.
I feel this is more of an offline discussion.
We can discuss offline because some of the lecture really weren't totally related to the sutra.
Okay, then edit it
Yeah.
out. It can always
No,
have a
it's
version.
more that I think we need to
Yeah.
present the specifics
Yeah,
to master.
You train your AI to do it.
We will get a proposal for you to review, and so we have a definitive answer. Thank you.
Preferably, you should have a unedited version as reference. How's that?
Yeah,
And
that is
then
a
you can simplify it, and say, okay, for the sake of ease of publication or printing, this is what we present to you. But you also want to check the full version.
right.
That works as well, to me. The point here is that, again, same thing as the spirit here. Master YongHua, when he explained the prologue here, is for the sake of completeness. Okay? But I feel that it's not for us. I feel it's good to go through it, but don't try so hard to understand too much, because it's not going to help your becoming enlightened that much. This is after we become enlightened. Then it makes sense for you to go through this. And I'm not talking about small level enlightenment. I told you, even my peers, Master YongHua disciples, would not be able to dig into this. They can't. It's way too much for them. I told you, this is a level of someone who says, I'm going to systematize how to bring you to enlightenment. That kind of level. A school, a sect founder, not just a teacher. A teacher like me is at best, we can help you improve and become enlightened, but we don't have the skills or the broad enough knowledge to provide a system for you for so many more people. See, for me, it's easy because look at you, I say, okay, I have you here. But their system is for now and then the future as well. And this is good for the land of India, where we are right now. We're looking at the Indian technology. And then the Chinese have their own schools, the Tiantai school, they have the Xianshou school and so forth. Okay? So each space chart is for a different land. And eventually in our world, in the U.S., maybe in the future there'll be a patriarch who will provide a system or provide a school. I don't know, but it's not my interest. I doubt it. You know why not? You guys don't have enough blessings. Okay. And so as far as the sixth patriarch goes, just do full version and you can edit it you like. Present different versions. It's okay. Okay. Way Mountain.
Master, so it's in the same subject. So we'll do the, I guess we're faithful to your teaching and the content, but something is more like a repetitive. Like if you say something twice, but it's the same thing, like, do you know? Do you know? I mean, we could strike the second questions, right? Like you say okay a lot, we remove okay.
I hate it when you point out that I stutter. I think you guys enjoy this. At least the people here, the Republicans here, enjoy this. Sure, you like. Again, you have the original version as unedited. That's fine. And then you can edit it you like. It's not a problem. Usually I stutter because I'm trying to think. Let me think, that kind of thing. Okay. Who else want to say anything else? Okay. 8:26. Okay, let's continue. However, concerning the dependent on something else and the perfectly accomplished, there was as yet no statement of existence.
然于依他圆成，犹未说有。
Okay, so it says here, he's going through, as a background, he's going through the teachings, how the Indian patriarchs, those two founders of Yogacarya and Media Makka schools, okay, those two big schools in India, how they went through, how they analyzed the Buddhist teaching based on their system. Okay? And so they classify the Buddhist teaching and so forth. And so this is where he says, remember the three natures, the nature everywhere attached, calculating everywhere attached, the nature that arises dependent on something else, and the perfectly accomplished true nature, those three natures. That's how Buddha sees us, okay? And that's why he bestowed the teachings accordingly. So these schools, these Indian schools, then try to justify why the Buddha did that. And to me, it's kind of funny, because why on earth would you want to try to justify why the Buddha did it? Okay, to me, it's so funny. Okay, yeah. So anyway, so that's why he says one period when the Buddha said that is for that, but it's not addressing the problems of the other two natures. Okay, and the teaching point here for you to understand is that now this is of interest to you. This concept of wonderful existence and true emptiness. Okay, this is only Avatamsaka Sutra where you find the kind of elaborations and details. So this is why for this alone is worth for us to spend time, because you need to hear about this. and need to hear it over and over again until these seeds are so many of them, they eventually they will sprout. Okay? It's not for you to understand. It's just this concept of wonderful existence and true emptiness, which true emptiness basically says, I have no attachments. Okay? And wonderful existence is that I attach to everything. And that's the beauty of the Buddhist wisdom. All right? And so he says, because the Buddha, when he taught these things, the way we systematize it, classify it, he talked about the first nature, the teaching addressed the first nature, the other two are not addressed. Okay, that's what it means. 828, that was all the Prajna Sutras and so forth. During the third period, by then the principles proper of the great vehicle, there was complete statement of the three natures, three non-natures and so forth, thereby exhausting the principles.
及诸部般若等经第30中就大乘正理，据说三性、三无性等，方为净理。
Okay, and so 829, and so the Master Jing Yang then further explained. He says, remember the Buddha's teaching can be based, was classified by them as four periods. First is Agama, where they teach the Travakas, or sound hearers. Second, Vipulya, or connective teaching, where there's in between a transition to prepare you for the Prajna period. Third period, which is Prajna, where you, by learning this, you become enlightened. Okay? And fourth is perfect teaching, where not only will you become enlightened, you will become Buddha. That's why it's called perfect teaching. Okay, enlightenment is not perfect yet. Perfected enlightenment is the fourth period. Okay, so that's why third period here is when you learn how to become enlightened. Okay, and when you talk about enlightenment, it's great vehicle. Okay, and in this great vehicle here, enlightenment means you have to understand all three natures. Okay. And so that's what it means. Okay, and then he talked about not only the three natures. The three natures is that again, this is how our mind functions. Okay, so it's calculating and attached to everything. That's the first nature. Okay, number two. It's a nature that arises dependent on something else. The mind arises dependent on something else. The third is the mind that is the true mind, basically. All right? And so in this Buddhist teaching, according to this particular Indian patriarch or teacher, he says, not only did in the final teachings, the Buddha talked about the three natures we talked about, but also the three non-natures. Okay? And therefore, that is complete Buddhist principles. Okay? And funny because Master YongHua did not go into the three non-natures. And so I looked up the three non-natures for you. I know, even though you're totally lost by now, but it's worth hearing about three non-natures. Okay, the three non-natures, I gave you the Buddhist dictionary definition in Chinese. If you want to, you can look it up, or you're gonna have Google Translate. Okay, whatever. Okay, or ChatGPT translate, whatever. But don't believe those translations. Yes, sir.
Master, the three natures, is that three different ways that we can understand our mind, or is that three levels of the nature of our consciousness?
It's the evolution of your mind from the Buddha's perspective. When you are confused, you're the first nature. And then that's why the Buddha said, for these people, I would teach agama. I told you to run away, okay? But the Buddha doesn't run away. He says, you stupid people, I'm going to teach you anyway. Me, I give up. I say, no, you too much. Okay, I don't have wisdom to deal with stupid people. I can deal with people who are reasonable, okay, who can think. That is the requirement for us. But Buddha, he doesn't care. It's fascinating, okay? So he teaches anyway. So the three natures here, he says, if you look at the mind, how your mind evolves, it begins first with calculating. Okay, you see, he sees it in us. Okay? So he says, that's the nature where you are. And so he converts you so that now brings you to the next level, okay, where it's a mind that arises depending on something else. After you taught, now he brings you that mind, you see? And then after that is enlightenment. And so that's what he talked about, three natures. But he says, even for enlightened people, okay, I will have to teach them the three non-natures to complete it. Because this is very Buddhist. Once we teach you something, when you said yes, they have to teach you about no. Unlike the Republicans or the Democrats. Okay? The Democrats and Republicans are only two extremes. Okay? On everything. Whereas in Buddhism, we embrace two extremes. Okay? So the three nature, the first nature, remember, is everywhere calculating and attached to. Then the Buddha says, actually, your nature, that nature is also, that's a mark without nature. Meaning that which is the antidote of something that calculates, calculating mind and everything attached to. So because he says, for enlightened people, okay, here's why you should not reject them. Okay, he says, because these people are attached to marks, to external things. They see a flower and they say, wow, they're so beautiful. And they are enthralled. Okay? And the Buddha says, that nature there is opposite of the nature of wisdom. That is, you should look at the opposite of nature, which is says, all that you see, the beautiful flowers, the things that are exciting to you, are basically false marks. Like, and the Buddha gave an example, like when you take your eyes, your healthy eyes, perfectly healthy eyes, and you rub them. And eventually, what you see is flowers in space. Certainly, you rub like this, okay, either you get an eye infection, okay? If you don't, you certainly see flowers, and then they appear, and then they disappear. Okay? So that is a mark without nature, meaning the flowers there are not real. So that's what he says. Whatever you attach to right now, your children, your husband, your money, and so forth, okay, your flowers, okay, are the marks without nature. You don't have to be attached. That's wisdom. So he teaches you about that nature, but he also says, actually, you know, if you follow my teaching, you see the non-nature of that. So don't reject it. Okay? The flowers there is useful because eventually I will teach you, I bring you to those flowers as basically are not real. That's why it's called non-nature. Don't attach to the marks. And that's the mind of wisdom. You plant the seeds of wisdom. Okay? Second mind. The mind arises from something else. Then the antidote for that is production without nature. Okay? So this is so it says here that everything that happens is because of the conditions are ripe for that to happen. Okay? And therefore it's conditional upon something else, some conditions for whatever you observe right now is actually happen, is real to you, but actually it arose because of some unseen conditions, unseen factors that you don't know about. Okay? And therefore, like a mirage. Okay? The mirage happened because of some physical things that we don't even need to understand. Okay? You see, you lost. You see, this is what is called wisdom. And number 3, supreme principle without nature. It says that basically there is no substance, there's no mark. Okay, and that's why the supreme principle is that you are not attached to anything, including your Buddha nature. That's why it's called supreme. Is the Chinese okay with you, Chinese-speaking people? Is my explanation okay? No, you don't understand, right? Yeah, see, some even try to understand this. Yes, 6.
Here, the supreme principle without nature. So, the supreme principle is the emptiness is also empty. So without nature, does that mean even that principle? But even that principle also has no nature.
You know what it really means? It means that your enlightenment is no enlightenment.
And then even that is, even that statement is also without nature.
That enlightenment has no nature. This is for the bodhisattvas. You see, so that's why these idiots who says, I'm special, I'm better than you, because they don't understand the supreme principles without nature. Your enlightenment is nothing. If they just had listened to Master Hsu's teaching, they wouldn't be this way. See, enlightened people, they still don't understand the supreme principle without nature. They don't understand their enlightenment has no nature. That's why they have to be taught the supreme principle without nature. Meaning the nature, the principle of enlightenment, okay, has no nature. You see, you don't understand anything. You see my point? So you don't even understand this. Why do you want me to go through, explain to you what how to set up a school? Huh? How many people you think are going to attend your school? Go sell Tesla or something. It's better use your time. Okay, 8:31. That was, JMT. Go ahead, JMT. Oh my God, look at JMT. Now all the Koreans are gone.
마스터, 그러면 지금 말씀하신 대로라면 내가 지각하는 인과관계, 의타기성이 기본적으로 내가 틀렸다라고 이렇게 베이스로 마음을 가져야 되는 건지를 질문드립니다.
What I understand is what I perceive the cause and effect. Is it all wrong? Can I understand like that?
No. There's cause and effect for you.
아니, 그게 아니고요. 그러니까 방금 마스터께서 설명하신 대로라면 이제 모든 것이 이제 인연이 무르익어서 여러 가지 조건에 의해서 일어나기 때문에 반드시 뭐 때문에 뭐다라고 이렇게 규정할 수 없다라고 제가 알아들어서 질문을 드리게 된 거거든요.
So what I understand is that everything happens because there are some conditions ripen. So there are several conditions. It's not just one.
That's correct. Your understanding is correct.
그렇기 때문에 그러니까 방금 마스터께 설명하신 거를 듣고 제가 생각하고 있던 이타기성이 그러면 제가 모든 지혜가 있지 않고 다 모든 걸 알 수 없기 때문에 내가 이거라고 인과관계로 지적한 게 반드시 맞다라고 볼 수 없다라고 인식해야 되냐, 그러니까 내가 옳다라는 거를 내려놔야 되는지를 질문 드리는 포인트거든요.
Then based on your teaching, I cannot understand everything. I don't understand why this thing happened. So I need to drop that. I am right.
그러니까
Something like that. Don't confuse me. Now I'm confused. Okay. Each person is different, first of all, and you evolve. So, for example, the Buddha in the Nirvana Sutra says, the first half he says, the Ichantikas have no Buddha nature. The people who do have no faith have no Buddha nature. In the second half, he says they have Buddha nature, and that caused a lot of problems for his disciples. I don't know why he said that. My guess is that at some point in time, it's easier to tell your son not to lie because he's young enough. Okay, so it's best to teach him the proper fundamentals. But after he goes to business school, he has to be taught, you better lie, boy. Otherwise you can't work. You see? So that's what happens. So the Buddhist teaching is geared towards each person, and it varies from time to time. That's the nature of wisdom. Okay, let's face it. Look, you women go home. Look your husband. You love him and you don't love him. We love you dearly. Always. Forever. You see? So we taught differently. Because it's easier for us to love you. Does it help? See, it's just like you and your husband. You're two totally different people. See, she gets it. Okay, let's move on. Don't worry, just listen, okay? Yeah. That was the understand the deep secret sutra and so forth.
集解深密经等。
The proof here for you is that, all this profound classification from the bodhisattvas, the mahasattvas, are based on actually Buddhist sutras. It's not, they don't grab things out of thin air. So this is all based, you see, can you imagine the erudition of these great bodhisattvas? They studied and studied and studied, okay? 833, for this reason, as regards to those three periods of time, the first falls to the extreme of existence, the next falls to the extreme of emptiness, and neither is the ultimate meaning.
是故于彼30初堕有边，次堕空边，俱非了义。
Okay, so this is the wisdom of the Indian teachers, by the way. So they see that and they said, the Buddhist teaching first period is the store teaching. Okay, we went through this time and time again, and so the first time the Buddha taught to his first disciples, okay, because he sees them as very attached to existence. They're very attached. See, that nature, calculating, and very attached to. That's why he teaches agama. Okay, and then and the next one is Vipulya. Is that he says now I'm going to more of emptiness. Okay, and neither is ultimate. That's why you have to go to prajna before you have real wisdom. All right? That's the ultimate meaning. 835, the final period is a statement both that the everywhere calculated nature is empty and that the two remaining constitute existence, which tallies with the middle way, and so is the ultimate meaning.
后时据说偏寂性空，于二为有，契会中道，方为了义。
Okay, 836. And the final period, the fourth period, is Lotus Sutra, the Lotus and Nirvana teachings, a very short period. And he says that now they combined both emptiness and existence. That's why it's called wonderful existence is the same as true emptiness. Just hear of it, okay? Don't try to understand. Okay, this is the beauty of Buddhist wisdom. Okay? And that is the middle way. All right? I'm flying through these slides. I love it. You guys are, Don't worry, this is an overview. So when we go into the sutras itself, the Avatamsaka Sutra itself, then we'll have the satisfaction of knowing that everything has been mentioned before. Now we get the details later. Okay? This was determined based on the Deep Secret Sutra.
此一生密所盼。
And this is the Dharma Mark School, established by Master Precept Worthy, and that's what he based it on. Okay, so he's a pretty cool monk, very impressive monk. Second school, 840. 2. Shastra Master Wisdom Light, who received his distant transmission from Manjushri and Nagarjuna, and his proximate transmission from Nila Netra and Bhava Viveka.
2. 智光论师，远程文殊龙树，敬秉青目轻便。
841. So the other school is the Dharma nature school of Jnana Praka, or wisdom light. Okay, the interesting point here is that it sounds like great that they founded a school. Actually, what happened to these people is that they got help from Manjushri and Nagarjuna. Okay, this is so Buddhist. We have so many great beings. They have so much wisdom. They are ready to step up and go to bat for us and guide us. Okay? And not only the big shots, Manjushri and Nagarjuna, but also their contemporaries, Nilanetra and Bhava Viveka. Okay? And we call them as influences. Never mind. He based himself upon such sutras such as the Prajna and such shastras such as the Madhyamaka and so forth.
一般若等经中观等论。
Okay, so now second school. Okay, second school, he has some shastras that he cited as reference. This is what scholars do. They have real references. 844, he also established teaching of three periods which explain the great vehicle doctrine of marklessness as the true and ultimate meaning.
义立30教，以明无相大圣为真了义。
Okay, you see, this is kind of interesting thing to me is that the ancient Indian masters found it important to provide a theory as to why the Buddha taught certain things, certain ways. And you don't see that in the Chinese. Okay? Because the Chinese are much more sophisticated to me. There's 5 schools. The schools they have are, like a Tiantai school has so much erudition. Okay? The Huayan school is so profound, much more profound than Madhyamaka or Yogacarya from India, to me. Okay? And, because if you reduce the Buddhist teaching to like Wei Shi, which is consciousness only, which is the Dharma nature school, okay, right here. Okay? If you reduce only the Buddhist teaching to see it through the lens of consciousness only, okay, then you find out later, Master Qing Liang shred them to pieces. He said, this has problems, the way you go about doing this. Okay? So that's why I maintain that why would you try to classify the Buddha's teachings? He taught because he taught to the people who were in front of him, okay, and to all of us in the future. So why would you try to classify it? Okay, and to me, that's not very, very, very useful. Okay, and so. And to bring it down to marklessness and a true ultimate meaning. True ultimate meaning, who cares? Okay? Yeah. And marklessness as a true ultimate meaning. Then you have a problem. If you say anything true and ultimate, then what about something that's untrue and not ultimate? That's not a middle way. Okay? Yeah. So you cannot be Republican or Democrat. You have to be a hybrid. Okay? Oh, especially those you who are Republicans. You're wrong. Okay, 846. They are that the Buddha at first in a deer park spoke of the small, explaining the mind and the states as both existent.
为佛出入院说小，明心净具有。
So what's interesting here is that when the Buddha taught mankind, and we're talking about his first 5 disciples were advanced practitioners. They meditated, they could have, they developed samadhi, okay, a lot of samadhi, and the Buddha looked at them and taught to them the way he related to them because they're so attached, okay? They relate to them that the mind and the inner mind, the mind inside and the state outside, what they see outside as real. It's like, what's the equivalent? Okay, the kids is throwing a tantrum, so we give them a candy to appease him. Okay, so that's why that's what he says here. 848. Afterwards, in the middle period, for those of average faculties, he spoke the great vehicle doctrine of Dharma marks the principles of consciousness only of states being empty and the mind existing.
次于中时，为比中根说法相大圣，净空心有为是道理。
Okay, so now he goes into the next period, the Vipurya period of connective teaching. He says, remember this is this section here, door here, the store. Okay, so he said how you classify the teaching into the various stores. So middle period, meaning that the people who are of average faculties, okay, meaning better than Hinayana, meaning who? You. Okay? For sure. Okay? Because Hinayana people would be turned away when you get to this point. Okay? So that's why it's called average faculties. Okay? And Dharma marks, meaning that it says here for you that when you look outside, states are empty, the mind existing. So it says, if you have wisdom, this is how you can tell if you have wisdom or not. Okay, is that, okay, you hear, when you see outside things, okay, then they're not real. That's wisdom. How's that? Okay? And that's what we train you, bring you to, okay? Where you have a mind here, okay? You still have a thinking mind, the processes, but you're not attached to the outside. Meaning what? Don't be attached to money. Don't be attached to your jobs. Don't be attached to your wife. Give master a red car. If you're not attached, you give it to me. I tried. Okay. So states meaning outside. Okay? Outside is empty, but the mind is still here. And that's wisdom. Isn't it interesting? So the Buddha is very kind. Even though when you're attached to, he can teach you, okay, and help you reduce your suffering. And when you get that, that's the first state, so it's the first level where you're so attached, you insist on something and you will not listen. So again, I give the analogy of give the kid some lollipop, okay, to appease him, so that he has a chance to go further, okay? And then next level is that he says, okay, now you have a little bit of wisdom, okay? You be trained to ignore the outside. That next level. See, Buddhist teaching is very systematic. You cannot say, I'm going to be here, I'm going to go like that right away. That's not possible. So Buddha sees it. Says that he says. Okay, yes, Wei Mountain. It's beautiful. The Buddha's wisdom is incredible.
Thank you, Master. We have a question on YouTube.
Yes.
It's from Diego. Emitofuo, Master, can we say that all the New Age teachings about Pachamama, earth, and nature is still in the first mind or attached to it?
It's confusion. The first teaching, the first period is about wisdom. An expedient the Buddha taught to help you build the foundation to go to second period. If you stick to those non-Buddhist teachings, okay, you can't even get to the first period. Okay? So this is what the Chinese taught it as, okay? The three realms are only consciousness. Myriad dharmas are only from mind, okay? So that's how they're taught to understand. Consciousness is what you bring. The connection from you inside to the outside is through your consciousness. So whatever you see, you feel, is through your consciousness. It's empty. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. So you brought to a realization that the outside is empty, so that you can let go. All right? So that's why he says it's only consciousness, meaning it's not real. This seems real to the confused people, but if you have wisdom, this is not real to you. That's the standard. Don't look at me, I didn't make this rule. Okay? Okay? This is how you pass the test. And the myriad dharmas are only from mind. Okay? You don't understand this. What it means is that, yes.
There, but about the outside or the exterior, that it is not real. There are some kind of levels, like for example, maybe it's easier to see that when you are like, I don't know, that people told you something, and it's like, okay, I don't mind because it's not real. Mm-hmm. But for example, like pain, that you understand is not real, mm-hmm. you seen in other things that are not real, mm-hmm. but for example, even you see or you can understand that the pain is not real, mm-hmm. why the mind, why is also attached to that?
Why is it attached to it?
Yeah, to the
because
pain.
You have no wisdom.
So the wisdom is like build, like you have to build it.
No, it's not like that. You're confused. Okay, and this is why in the Chan training, we don't dwell too much on these words. Okay, it's about you experiencing it. we need to bring you there. And then we explain to you, oh, you see, when you're here, this is how you're supposed to experience. This is your state of mind. This is your experience. But is it helpful for you to know this, for you to get there? Not necessarily. This is where the difference between a student and a teacher. If you want to help the students get there, then you probably want to know this. Okay? But the students, it's better you don't need to know because it confuses you. Like you, it's too much for you. You're too new. It's way too much for you. That's exactly how I felt when I said, this is way over my head when I first read it. So I read the English word, that is outer state as non-existent, but still consider mind to exist, saying, to remember our own consciousness, to remember our own mind. And then I considered that my job is done. But you know what? I was terrified. So I hope that my students will never ask me about these things. So I wouldn't know what to tell them. Because one day they're going to say, you know, Master YongHua says the three realms are only consciousness and mere Dharma is only from mind. What does it mean? And I'm dead. That's why I was terrified. Now I'm no longer terrified. That's why I can look at you and say, no, you don't understand. It's easier. Okay? So it serves two purposes. Number one is that you need to understand the state. Okay? When you get to this state, the wisdom, if you want to pass to a higher grade, higher level, you need to see that the consciousness is empty. This is empty. Don't be attached to it. Okay? But inside, you see that mere Dharma is only from mind, meaning that you don't know what it means. Let me tell you what it means, okay? And don't you dare terrify the other monks and nuns, because they will not be able to explain this to you. Okay? Most of them will not be able to. It means that you feel, what you smell, what you touch. Don't be attached to it. Okay? You know why not? Because it was created by you. You own it. The red car is yours. You created it. That's why you can let go. You have it. You don't need to attach to it. That's wisdom. Right now you can't let go because it's so expensive to you. But if you know that it's yours, you created it, you own it, then you no longer are attached. That's wisdom. It's incredible wisdom. You could have it anytime you want. Why should you be attached? I'm simplifying it for you. Okay? Yes, sir. One.
Excuse me. This is in a way similar to Western philosophy. Immanuel Kant once said that you can never understand the thing unto itself, the thing outside of us, and that everything that we experience is a representation of the mind. The mind can't know the object of perception. But he said something interesting.
He's confused.
I'm sure,
okay.
Yeah.
Drop him.
Well,
Drop everything he says. He's totally confused.
Well, there's one bit that I wonder...
You don't listen, do you?
I was going to ask a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're wasting time.
Okay.
You're wasting your time.
Fair.
Because you're wasting your energy. Basically, it's garbage. Kant is garbage. He's totally confused.
Can you tell me why he's confused?
He's confused because he's too attached. He's too attached to his theory. It's a theory for him. He conceives those things. It's totally unproven. Philosophers have no way of proving anything. Whereas, what is your proof then? Your proof is you. You experience it. The states that the Buddha taught, when you meditate and you cultivate, you experience those states. That's why I'm trying to explain to you, okay? We as teachers need to learn about these states, okay? So that's our jobs, not yours. Way too much for you. So we need to understand what is first dhyana, what is first stage arhat, what is second stage arhat. I'm making it very specific for you. No mind about these. These are a lot of words, and they're all true. But because they are producing a theory behind it, that's why it's confusing to you, confusing to most of you. Whereas it's much easier for you to say, I need to get to first stage arhat. Because when you first stage arhat, then I can talk to you about certain things. Very much like when you talk to your kid. He wants to have fun right now, so let him have fun. There's no point in talking to him about good or bad or career and would you like to become a cop like me? It's too premature. Same thing. So we learn about this because you see how broad the Buddha's teaching is, okay? And it helps the teachers understand that there is many criteria that many Dharma doors that we can use to bring you to first stage arhat, to bring you second stage arhat, bring you third stage arhat, because we understand the breadth here. Okay, so that for you, in order to get there, we use this. For him, it's for Republicans. That kind of thing. You see, so each person is different, but it's fall within the doors that's available. And that's the job of a teacher. You don't need to worry about it until you become a teacher. Case in point. Hinayana teachers, they are determined to bring you to selflessness. So they're taught Satipana, the mindfulness of the breathing, okay? They're taught metta, what is it called? Kindness, loving kindness. Thank you very much. You see, this is a very Hinayana person here. Okay? And so they have very specific Dharma doors to get you there. Okay? Contemplation of the impure, when you contemplate a corpse, a person dies, and you look at the corpse, you see how it evolves into 9 different stages. Okay? Okay? It's yucky. And that you do that, then reduces your sexual desire. And see, so this is what I'm desiring in you. So every time he looks at a man, he says, "Oh my God, you are so ugly." So there's so many Dharma doors there that the Hinayana have to bring you there. But for us, we have so many more, endlessly more. That's why we're a lot faster. Because we can accommodate a lot more people. So it's a job of a teacher, of a patriarch, GMT.
마스터께서 법문하셨던 걸 조금 리마인드 시켜드리면 삼성 유심, 만법 유심 슬라이드를 설명하시다가 일단 여기까지 한번 끊어주세요, 상우스님.
Master, first I want to remind you what Master taught us. First, Master explained the three realms are only consciousness and the myriad dharmas are only from mind.
네, 이제 그 슬라이드를 설명하시면서 어떤 부연 설명을 하셨었냐면 내가 보는 것이 진짜가 아니다. 바깥을 무시하는 것을 배운다라는 부연 설명을 하셨었어요. 네. 내가 보는 것이 진짜가 아니다. 바깥 경계를 무시하는 것을 배운다라는 게 마스터의 부연 설명이셨어요. 네.
And in this slide, you explained what I see is not real. The external things, we have to ignore external things.
Okay.
네, 이제 제 질문은 그렇게 바깥을 무시하는 걸 배운다라는 것이 외부 경계를 블럭 처리하고 탈착시키는 것을 말하는 건지를 질문드립니다.
So ignore the external things. Does it mean that detach the external thing?
Don't go there.
그러니까 어떻게 되지? 상수님 죄송한데 이게
You don't listen, do you? I hope you guys at the end, huh? Future teachers? I'm giving you formulas already. Drop it. Too much thinking. Okay? Don't worry about it. Okay? Yeah. You're doing fine. Praise the Lord. Okay, can I finish this slide and we can go? Okay. That was because the faculties were inferior and not yet able to totally enter the undifferentiated sameness of true emptiness.
以根游劣，未能全入平等真空。
Okay, so what it says here is that second period, even though those people, this is higher level than of attainment than the Hinayana people. Okay, they are superior. Okay, however, he says, even when he was teaching those disciples of his during the second period or Vaipurya period, okay, he says they're limited. He sees them as limited. Okay, and therefore they're not able to enter the principles of true emptiness and wonderful existence. So there's no point. So he looks at them and say, "No, it's premature. Don't go there." That kind of thing. I'm not going there. Don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Drop it. Dump it. Yes, 6.
Master, the translation of differentiated sameness for 平等, is that correct? That's
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that terminology has a different translation usually.
It's close enough.
Okay.
Don't worry. Again, it's not that important. I have some good news after I answer the question so that I see why you're going through this. That's the way, Mount. Go ahead.
Master, sorry, maybe unimportant. Slide 850. English translation use three realms are consciousness, and then myriad dharma are only from the mind. But the Chinese use the same character as the Xing here. Are they the same? The word consciousness and mind? Usually consciousness was translated as sha.
maybe this would be shi. Maybe it's not sin, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. Okay, I want you to be exposed to this because it's going to help you in the future. I don't want you to think that we're leading you down this narrow path of occult. I want you to know that it's based on the real teachings of Buddhism, okay? And what we're doing, by the way, and that's the conclusion for today, what we're doing is follow the Wei-Yang style of training. In the Chan school, especially our school of training, we're not attached to, for example, the Koreans are attached to, their son is attached to Hua-To, okay? The Hinayana attached to mindfulness, breath counting, and so forth, okay? And the Chan school that we're teaching you is all over, whatever works for you, we'll do it. Sometimes beating, sometimes it's fasting, sometimes bowing, sometimes repentance, sometimes Hua-To, sometimes reciting the Buddha's name, all of those. Okay? All that matters is that you get there. That's the nature of the Wei-Yang training that I found. It's wide open. Sometimes you use a cleaver, sometimes you use a boning knife, sometimes you use a bread knife, and so forth. Okay? And we are not limited by any style. Linji, they're limited by beating you, punching you, yelling at you, scolding you, and so forth. We're not above it. I yelled at my disciples. I beat people, and maybe that's why she ran away. Whatever it takes. Okay? But all that is based on the principles here. So that once you go through that, you read this, then you say, oh, that's why. That's how I got there. And now I see that actually I have many more ways to get there than my own. And then because of her, I can help her get here by this door instead of my door. So that's why this is important knowledge for you. It's not a waste of time, let me tell you. This is a seed for you in the future for you to be able to help a lot of people. Because if we were to say, let's just get you enlightened and then your path is so narrow, then you have nothing to expand down the road. This is why we're doing this. And this is the best seeds possible for you. Compliments of Master YongHua. That's why he's a patriarch. He's doing his job. Okay? So don't worry. Just, just hang in there. We only have to go through this, and hey, we may even stop at door number 2. This is too much. I'm bored. Because I don't see how you can possibly get this. Okay? Yeah. And so since we started, we should finish it. I propose we should finish it and move on, because it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're not there yet. to worry about this. I can't think of anyone who should be looking at this right now. But we're doing this. I propose we keep on doing this because let me try to simplify it for you, okay? And plant the seeds for you so that you will not be impressed or confused by the scholars who in the future will come and try to confuse you. Okay? Or we can stop, it's up to you. What do you want? Yes.
What are we going to explain after this if we stop?
To yourself?
No, Master, what do you explain after this, the door 2?
We go into the Avatamsaka Sutra.
Which chapter?
There's plenty of chapters. I don't know which chapter, but there are lots of chapters you can go into that will be actually a lot more useful to you in the near term. But if we do that, then I need time to prepare it. Okay? I just did my first pass in the first chapter of Vimalakirti Sutra. I need a few more passes, but I can go along as I can do that as we go along. I have an overview of the first chapter already. It's 900 slides. 851 here, it's 900. One chapter. Okay, yeah, and so the point here is that to be honest with you, I feel that this is something I would recommend that you do. You read Master YongHua's stuff. For me to spend time to go through this with you, is probably way above your head. I don't see any of you. I don't see any of his disciples, even my peers. They are even worse than you. Okay? Yeah. And so, to me, and this is why to me, I have to be honest with you. I personally feel that it's fantastic. The depth here is incredible, but it's personal. It's something you appreciate yourself, learn to appreciate yourself. Okay? But you can't use it to help others. Because in the future, it will be useful, but now we don't have the infrastructure to be able to help, let's say, the people who are very important to you, your family, your friends, your relatives. That is priority for me. Okay? And this is, to me, the next generation. In the future, when you want to go into seclusion, okay, then it's for two purposes: either get spiritual penetrations or penetrate this. Because this is the depth that we need to even have more ways to help you. Okay? It's fantastic. It's really, really superior wisdom. but it's not time yet for that. Okay? So that's how I see it. I don't see like my peers that totally are turned off by this. They're frightened by this. Okay, it's too much. Because as soon as you start asking them questions, they say, oh, they're going to say something, that will contradict the teachings. So the answer in response to the question, which I'm going to explain, I don't know yet, but if we, in the spirit of keeping you busy, we can continue to do chapter 1 or Vimalakirti is up to you until I prepare one next chapter, and then we would explain that on Friday nights. Give me some time. A few weeks or so. So we continue to explain sutras. We have plenty to go. First chapter of Vimalakirti is about 900 slides. First pass. First chapter, Avatamsaka Sutra, we haven't touched much. To be honest with you, I would love to continue this myself personally, because I find it fascinating. I find it amazing. The breadth of Master Ching Liang's wisdom is incredible. And the Indian masters and Master YongHua are incredible. Okay? But it borders on establishing a school. Okay? It's not time for us to do it yet. There's too much work left to do. We need to do more, create more materials, because the range of your levels is from low to high. Okay? And so that right there, we want to take advantage of it so that we can produce more materials to help more and more people. And what I did with you is use a very narrow path, bring people up there. Okay? But now we need to do our work by increasing the head count. Because my teacher did not. That's why he's dying. They don't appreciate the wisdom here. It's incredible wisdom. If I were them, I'd spend time translating this, and that would be a lot more meritorious than building a Buddha hall. Okay? Much more. Because this is unique to them. Anyone can build Buddha hall. To you, it's all the same. Buddha hall over there, Buddha hall over here, it's all the same to you. You go there and you click. That's all you do. That's all you care about. Okay? But this is unique to Master YongHua's wisdom. Incredible wisdom. Yes, too. So take a vote. What do you want?
Emitofuo Master. Actually, I learned the consciousness only theory twice already, and I don't think I understand much about that. I learned some of the technical word, but the last teaching, last week teaching, and this week, I think, with very simple words, Master explained to us the essential of the consciousness teaching, and also everything created from the mind, that we keep repeating it, but we don't know, the deep meaning of it. And today Master said that because you fabricate it, so you can drop it very easily, because those are those things that start with a false talk, and then you can drop it. And it's like, for me, I think that meaning like reading 1,000 books summarized on that sentence. I really appreciate that, and I think things like this, we need to hear it over and over again in order to understand it, in order to.
So what's the point?
So I think if it's possible, we can must keep a lecture us on this one. I really think it's very fascinating.
So extreme, you know.
Yeah, it's very exciting to hear this. Yeah, from the way Master explained to us, it's very simple and very easy for us to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, the consciousness school, which is the Dharma nature, school. I don't like it because it's very difficult to help you become enlightened, because it stresses knowledge instead of guidance. See, Vasubandhu and so forth, they are scholars. They read too much, whereas I'm more of a Chan person, where you only need to know enough to open your wisdom. Because inherently in Buddhism, too much knowledge is bad for you. Look at the scholars. Look at yourself. Look at how much junk you have in your head. You don't know which one is junk, which one is not. Kants, I used to idolize Kants in high school. Okay? Because it's such a cool thing to talk about life. And it's all nonsense in the eyes of Buddhist wisdom. It's sophistry. They say this because it sounds good. It sounds revolutionary, like Newsom trying to do something extraordinary for the environment for the sake of being different. Instead of, as a leader, visionary, you want to do the right thing for your people, to serve your people, not to stand out. It's nonsense. Okay, the Democrats are crazy. Here in California. So you guys are crazy people. Yes, you too.
Thank you, Master. We have a comment from Zihong. She says, let us continue with the prologue for a while. Thank you, Master.
Too yay. And any nays? Do I hear any nays?
I agree with that.
I didn't hear anything. Any nays? Okay, let's continue. And at the same time, I start preparing something. So you guys can stop door number 3, okay? Is that a compromise good enough? I know they spent so much time preparing door number 3 already. And I'm chickening out because I feel that door number 3 and number 2 here helps me more than it helped you. If I were to spend time explaining a Vimalakirti Sutra or a sutra of the Avatamsaka Sutra, it's more useful to you. Okay? This is useful to me, but I take it to my grave. Unless I set up a school. But who would want to set up a school? I want a red car. Come on, man. I don't want a school. Okay, so we continue, okay? Because the nays are 0 and the yays are 2.5. And thank you for your participation. Okay, we continue next time on... on 853, third period. Okay, thank you everyone.